everybody, Grest here. So what you saw in the intro was a little bit of shooting with my Smith & Wesson 629 in 44 Magnum. And as sweet as this revolver is, I will show you all that is unloaded. You know, the trigger on it can still use a little bit of an improvement. So double action and single action. Luckily for us, there's quite a few companies that make some upgraded spring kits, etc. for these awesome revolvers put out by Smith & Wesson. So what we're going to be doing today is going to kind of do a before and after of the Brownells Pro spring kit. This is for Smith & Wesson KL and N frames, and this is a spring kit that comes with a couple different springs that you can lighten up the pull and smooth out the trigger. So the springs themselves are actually made by Wolf, a very well-known company for making good quality springs. The other thing that I do have is a firing pin and spring assembly from Apex Tactical, which I was shocked to learn that they actually make revolver parts. So anyways, let's go ahead and do a quick trigger pull on the factory setup, and then I'll swap stuff out. Of course, I can't do that on camera due to YouTube's fun policies, but let's go ahead and my gauge may not even be able to register this thing, honestly. So definitely off the scale on my Wheeler trigger gauge. So let's go ahead and take a look at the single action. Right around 4 pounds. So that's a fairly heavy trigger for single action. So we'll see if we can lighten that up with a little bit of part swap out. Yep, pretty consistent right at 4 pounds. All right, so let me swap this stuff out and then we'll come back and do a check of the trigger once again. Alrighty folks, so I got my Wolf springs installed, and as well as the extended firing pin and spring from Apex. I picked up all these parts from my good friends over at Brownells. So if you're looking for parts for revolvers, other firearms, or firearms themselves for that matter, definitely check them out. You can use my affiliate link over on my website, and of course the channel gets a little bit of a kickback from that, so much appreciated there. One thing I will recommend if you are working on revolvers, you're going to want to have a good set of screwdrivers with the correct sizes. So I like the Magnatip set from Brownells. Had these for years. If you're working on vintage firearms or even modern firearms, having the correct screwdriver tip is always a helpful thing. So let's talk about the springs real quick. So Wolf makes a couple different spring weights for revolvers, and this kit comes with 3 weights for the rebound spring. So a 13 pound, 14 pound, and a 15 pound. So I went ahead and took the middle road there, went ahead and did the 14 pound one, and it also came with a new main spring. So this is the old one that I removed, and then here's the old rebound spring. So Apex makes a extended firing pin and a firing pin spring, so I went and swapped those out as well since I had it apart. And I will tell you, it's been a hot minute since I had a revolver apart. It took me a little while. Anybody that has worked on a Smith & Wesson revolver can attest to the side plate being pretty stiff to get off. When you remove your screws, you want to keep track of them. They are different. Kind of tap on the handle and that thing will come out of place. You do not want to damage that side plate. Okay, for those that are unaware of that, if you're not good with working with your hands and tools, I definitely don't recommend messing with a revolver. There's also a hammer safety in here that causes quite a pain trying to put the side plate back on, so you do not want to force this guy. And that was most of my struggles, actually, was getting the side plate back on. Getting it off wasn't quite as bad, but getting it back on, that hammer safety that rides right about in here kept kind of jiggling around, and it was blocking me from getting this on. So you do not want to force that on. You do not want to damage that. All right, so anyways, the trigger pull is much nicer in double action. I mean, it is night and day difference. Single action, there's I almost want to say it's too light. There's almost no weight to this trigger. So let's go ahead and put my trigger gauge on here and we'll see what we have. And remember, beforehand in double action it was off the scale of my Wheeler trigger gauge. I need to get a Lyman digital one at some point. And then for single action it was right at 4 pounds steady. So alright, so I got my trusty Wheeler trigger gauge here, and we're going to go ahead and pull that guy. Alright, so it looks like about 7.5 pounds. Yep, that's probably about right, honestly. So I'm going to do it one more time for good measure. Well, actually, got about 6.5 pounds that time. So much improved. Yeah, 7 pounds again. So somewhere between 6.5 and 7.5 pounds, I think is about right. And let's check the single action, and I know this is so light. Oh yeah, it's about 3 pounds. So again. Yeah, 3 pounds. So that dropped a whole pound off of that. I'll tell you, it felt lighter, but yeah, maybe a touch over 3 pounds. But definitely a smoother action than before. Lighter trigger. So yeah, I'm pretty dang impressed. I need to get this good old 44 Magnum back to the range, and having a lot of fun with this thing. I wanted a new revolver for quite a while, and you know, was so happy I was able to pick this thing up. I mean, it's just it's a beast of a revolver, and it's pretty dang sexy here. So alrighty, so just a fairly quick video here. The spring kits and the parts that I picked up for this thing, got those both from Brownells. And any questions or comments, please put those down below. And as always, I appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next video. Y'all take it easy.